Hello everyone, we are back. Today is the 21st of May and we are doing, once again, well, we do it daily, I do it at least, the Holocaust Academy Year 6 daily recap. So let's just jump straight into this. Of course, as I always say, you have your PE with Joe, which is optional. However, I suggest you do it as it warms up your muscles and gets you ready. Warms you up for the day. So, lesson 1 you would have here, maths. Coordinates and shapes to illustrate and name parts of a circle. In this lesson, you're going to identify the properties of a circle, name the parts, and find out about the relationship between the parts. So first, you have your introductory quiz here. Which part of the shape is the arrow pointing to? It's pointing to the side. Which part of the cube is the arrow pointing to? It's pointing to the edge. How many vertices does a cube have? It has 8 vertices. I'm thinking of a 3D shape. It has 4 vertices. What shape is it? It's a tetrahedron. I'm thinking of a 3D shape. At least one of its faces is not a rectangle, not including squares. What shape could this be? Multiple answers. So it could be a cuboid, a triangular prism, a pentagonal prism, and a cylinder. After that, you'd have your video here with Mr. Parsons. What you're going to do in the video is you're going to identify the different features of a circle, like the circumference, the radius, and the diameter. After that, you're going to learn how you can find the radius from the diameter and diameter from the radius, and that sort of stuff. So after that, you'd have your independent task here. So question 1, label the 3 parts of the circle. So this is the radius here, this is the diameter, and this is the circumference. Question 2, use the given diameters to calculate the radius of each circle. So this circle would have a radius of 8.5 centimeters. This one would have a radius of 8.5. This one would have 12.5 centimeters. This one would be 23 centimeters, and this one would be 36.5 centimeters. Question 3. Match the key vocabulary to the definition. So, a circumference is the boundary enclosing the circle. The radius is a straight line from a point on the circumference to the center. Diameter is a straight line passing through the center from one point to the circumference to another. On the circumference to another. The center is the middle of the circle. Question 4. Use the given radius for each circle to calculate the diameter. So this circle's diameter would be 6.8. This circle diameter would be 14.2 centimeters, and this one would be 17.4 centimeters. Question 5. Draw a circle with radius 3 centimeters, diameter 8 centimeters. So, of course, you'd have to draw 2 circles here, one with a radius of 3 centimeters, so the diameter would be 6, and this one, you'd have to draw a circle with a diameter of 8, which, of course, I can't do on here, however, you can probably do. After that, you'd go and mark your answers. After you'd mark them, you'd have your exit quiz here. Which part of the circle does the arrow represent? The circumference. Examples of which part of the circle are shown below? That's the radius. Example of which part of the circle are shown below is the diameter. Use the given radius to calculate the diameter of the circle. It would be 8.4 centimeters. Use the given diameter to calculate the radius of the circle. It would be 10.5 centimeters. After that, you've done this, and you'd have Lesson 2, English, Diary Entry, Lesson 4, Informal Language. In this lesson, you're going to look at informal language. So first, you have an introductory quiz here. So complete the table below, indicating whether the sentences are true or false. A diary entry should not include the writer's thoughts and feelings. That's false. A diary entry is a form of recount. That's true. A diary entry is a very personal form of writing. That's true. Blogs are an online form of a diary. That's also true. Complete the table identifying the 4 structural features of our diary entry. A day is a structural feature. A headline is not. A greeting, yes. First person, no. Before the day begins, yes. Before the day ends, yes. Which of the following grammatical features are features of a diary entry? So, formal language is not. First person, yes. Informal language, yes. And use of past tense and present and future tense where appropriate. During the example diary entry, a number of colons were used. Select the most appropriate use of a colon from the options below It would be to separate two independent clauses. Which of the following words below is not one of Unit 5's spelling list? It would be operation, is not. Then you have your video here with Mr. Fozzard. What you're going to do in the video is first, you're going to just remind yourself what informal language is, and then you're going to learn about informal language and how you can use it. And then you're going to write a sentence or two with informal language. After that, you'd have your independent task here. So, task 1, contractions. Write the contracted form. Is not would be isn't. Should have would become should have. I have would become should have. I've. I have would become I've. Identify the pairs of words that could be contracted and write the contracted form. So, it's crazy how much food he can eat would become it's crazy. It's. Could not would become couldn't, but I couldn't turn back. The excitement turned into nerves as I didn't know what was going to happen. Which numbered sentences include conversational language? So they would be 1 and 3. Right, and then you'd write 5 sentences of examples of conversational language. Task 3, question tags. Add a question tag to the following statements. I shouldn't go to the garage again, should I? It would be should I? Everything will be alright, won't it? I can't believe that he loves Chinese food. Can you? And then you write 5 sentences that you could use in your diary, which include a question tag. After that, you would go and mark it. After you had marked it, you would have your exit quiz here. Contracted words are formed when which piece of punctuation replaces the words which are missing? It's a apostrophe. Which of the following words are a contracted form of shall not? It's shan't. Select 2 options below which can be contracted. It would be could not and should have. It would be couldn't and should have. Which of the following sentences is most formal? It's the opportunity was presented by the doctor's arrival. Select the sentence below which uses conversational language. It would be right, today is going to be the day. Select an appropriate question tag for the end of this statement. You can hear me, could you? After that, you would have done that, and you would have your lesson 3, foundation, which would be history today. What was the Holocaust or Shoah? In today's lesson, you're going to learn about the Holocaust, also known as the Shoah. This horrifying period of history saw Hitler and the Nazis attempt to exterminate the entire Jewish people in Europe, as well as other groups. As a warning, this lesson includes some upsetting content. So first you have your introductory quiz here. Match these Nazi leaders with their jobs. Hitler was the Führer, Heinz Himmler was the head of the SS, and Joseph Goebbels was the Minister for Propaganda. Hitler opened the first concentration camps in 1933, where he would send his political opponents. That's true. What was the Night of the Long Knives? It was a 2-day period where Hitler executed his political opponents. What were the Nuremberg laws? They were the laws that removed rights and citizenship from Jews. After that, you would have your video here with Mr. Hutchinson. What you're going to do in the video is you're going to learn about what the Holocaust was, and you're going to learn about first about the ghettos, and then after that you're going to learn about the first concentration camps, then the ghettos, and then you're going to learn about the final solution, Hitler's final solution. After that, you'd have your exit quiz here. So why didn't the Jews fight back during the Holocaust? They did fight back. Approximately how many Jews were murdered during the Holocaust? 6 million. Approximately how many people in total were murdered by the Nazis during the Holocaust? About 11 million. What does Vernichtung durch Arbeit mean? It means annihilation through work. What was the final solution? It was the German leaders' plans to murder all European Jews. After that, you would have completed your lesson, and you would have completed your lessons for the 20th of May today on the Oak National Academy website. So, well, I guess there's not much else to say. So, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, goodbye and stay safe.